Alright folks, we're back. This is our deciding game 3 of our third winner bracket, round 1 quarterfinal match. There, of course, are 8 teams here completing I-League season number 2. This is the lone Western representative and the Ninjas in Pajamas, who will be duking it out with LGD. In game 1, NiP were dominant. They took it pretty easily, but in game 2, LGD stormed back. The Sylar Morph was out of control, and now we go into a deciding game 3. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Merlini and Ben. We're going to see some different picks. Brood Mama, she's in the house. And they picked into the Brood after seeing the Tide. Normally thought of as a pretty good laner against her.
It deals with Sylar's most traditional heroes, though, so I think it's still a decent pick, even if it may be a little bit early.
Can you expand on that a bit more?
Well, Sylar plays the late game farmers that can actually do a little bit in the early game too. Unlike, he usually doesn't play Naga. He plays anti-mage and
like Spectre,
Morphling. Yeah, so these heroes actually typically don't have that much AoE to deal with a Brood Mother in the early game. So maybe looking to take Sylar out of his comfort zone, because Sylar just destroyed them in game 2, like just absolutely manhandled them. And yeah, they could not touch him. Looking
at the other heroes he's played, he has played 2 Medusa games coming into this match as of late. He's played a single Death Prophet game. Tiny, we haven't seen the Wisp at all. That's been banned first phase every game in this best of 3, so probably won't see the Tiny this time around. I wonder how LGD may look to change it up here. What would you go for if you're LGD?
I mean, there's a lot of Brood Mother counters. I think LC is pretty good. Sand King, I think, is also really good here. Just like huge AoE combos force them all to get BKBs and slow down their push significantly. And I mean, even with BKBs, I still think they're still vulnerable to the Tidehunter and Sand King initiate. So, yeah, I think Sand King's a really good pick here. What other Brood Mother counters? Darkseer's like mediocre, I think. Axe is also really, really good versus Lycan and Brood. So I would say either Axe or LC.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Axe
has been
Axe
banned.
was banned though.
Okay, so yeah, Axe or so Sand King or LC are the other 2. Those are my top 3 anti-Brood. Tidehunter's like okay, but a good one will just creep skip. And Tidehunter doesn't do as well with farm as like a LC or one of those other heroes.
They say screw it. Let's stick with what worked for us in game number 2. Go for the MMY Lion. Snaps it up now. And
I actually think Lion's pretty bad against Brood Mother.
I was going to say, NiP have run quite a few Disruptor picks coming into this tournament. 4 times Handskin has played the Disruptor in his last 8 games, but we have not seen it yet. So, looking forward to it. And, well, here's a hero that can deal with Brood fairly well. Bristleback, very, very tanky against the little pokes from the Spiderites and Spiderlings, and also a lot of AoE to clear them off.
You also want physical damage to deal with the Lycan Wolves, and Tidehunter and Bristleback have a lot of that, so that's pretty good. Bristle is, I would say, like, okay. Like a really good, again, Brood will just creep skip. A really good Brood Mother will just creep skip and still be able to dominate a Bristle. And Bristle also doesn't have that much burst. Like, a single overwhelming odds will kill all the Broodlings. But Bristleback spray, it takes a lot of time. They can just regen up during the web, too, so I wouldn't say that Bristle's my go-to. But it is something that LGD is very comfortable with, especially judging by last game.
Yeah, Disruptor. What are your thoughts? Just is this the Tidehunter counter here with the Static Storm, or why do you go Disruptor here?
He's a well-rounded support. He's very good versus Tidehunter, firstly, and I don't know. I think he's just good at all phases of the game too. Glimpse is never gonna fall out of. It's never gonna fall off, right? And yeah, he's just pretty good. They're very spell dependent, minus Bristleback. So a well-placed Static Storm will destroy them. Aside from that, I mean, he can put a lot of pressure in Brood Mother's lane too. Maybe score some easy kills, because people are generally, like, their position is very wonky when trying to deal with the Broodlings.
They do ban the Morphling anyway, though. So I guess feeling like even with the way the drafts develop,
Disruptor's
they're not that
versus
confident.
Morphling too.
Yeah, they've got the potential Orchid builder, the early lane pressure, but I guess one thing LGD could do is just run the Morph mid as a way to kind of mix things up. So maybe NiP feeling like they don't have the answers there. They ban, or rather, they pick the Razor. Very good versus Bristle Tide in general.
Pretty farm dependent lineup though.
Naga Siren.
Okay, and this is I say that he doesn't play Naga Siren that much. They will pick up Naga Siren.
He used to play it quite a bit, but yeah, it's been a while since I've seen his Naga. Naga in general seems like she's kind of fallen out of popularity, outside of a few players like Miracle, where there's always the Naga pick that can come out, but Arteezy's not really playing it anymore. EE's not playing it anymore. Not quite as popular as she used to be, our Lady Naga.
She's a great hero.
Yeah, and there's no real illusion counter this game. They picked the Lion themselves. LGD, NiP did not go for...
Well, they have early push.
Yeah,
that's
true.
One of the counters to Naga.
That's true.
Just being able to limit where she can farm. They also have good heroes that can farm the jungle too. I think you need to control her jungle farm either by killing her a lot with a lot of map control or just being able to farm it up. And Broodmother, extremely difficult to kill. I don't really think they have a good way to like chase down a Brood at all.
Well, we kind of said this in game 1, like it was going to be all about the Nyx, and we'll see if Jonas can replicate his performance there. In game 2, he had a rough matchup and then just kind of fell apart on top of that rough matchup in the mid game, getting picked off multiple times solo by Sylar's Morphling. So they'll look for redemption here in our deciding game 3. Of course, not an elimination match, but loser down to the lower bracket has the rough road to follow. And with that, we introduce our teams. Lions, formerly Lions, now Ninjas in Pajamas, making their debut here in Dota 2 as we get underway in the new year. 2015 Dota coming your way, courtesy of Beyond the Summit. Jonas on that Broodmother. Going mid will be Era on the Lycan. Towards the safe lane goes Seal Kid, handling the Venge. The reins of the Razor taken up by 8mother, and that will leave Hanskin on one of his few signature heroes in the Disruptor. As for LGD Gaming, it's in July on the Tide. Sylar going to be handling your Naga Siren. MMY, who's been very impressive. No boots first this time. This time around, he's going to be purchasing a Smoke first team and playing... Actually, no, Faith bought it, but he is going to be holding the Smoke. He'll be playing the line. Faith on your Scarth Mage. Sylar will be handling the Naga, and they will send the Naga mid. So I'm not going to put him in the safe lane up against the Broodmother.
It's going to be pretty difficult for the supports to deal with a Razor too. Like Arcane Bolt spam on Unstable Current is pretty rough, as is Lion, because he has 4 clicky spells.
As LGD have done pretty much every game, it looks like they're going to run dual lanes once again. Sylar, imagine he'll go mid. Looks like he's rushing bottle. He does snag a bounty rune as well. And with that, the bottle is basically secured already. He's already got 640 gold here. Nice little start for him. Hanskin will weave his way up the ramp. It looks like he might have wanted to try and contest these Ancients, but for now just settles for a sentry and then retreats out. I don't think they saw exactly where this observer got dropped. Yeah, MMY still sitting on the second one. So it's going to be a Lycan mid. Good at rune controlling, so too is Naga with the illusions. Both heroes should just farm for the most part. In the safe lane, they're actually leaving the Bristleback alone, so they decide not to go with the dual lanes. LGD bring both supports top. It's an offensive tri-lane Tidehunter. What are your thoughts on this? Do you see this working out for LGD? Or?
I think Lion really needs levels in lane. So if he has to sit there, he's gonna, Tide is also really dependent on levels. So if they can't creep pull, it's gonna be really tough for them.
Do you think they can contest much here, or is NiP going to be too strong?
People used to pick Razor a lot, specifically versus a Tidehunter, and just shut him out of lane, especially in the safe lane, because you can just chase him down with the Link. So I don't think they're going to be able to get that much CS in this top lane.
At the same time, Yao is having an okay time here bottom so far, but there is a Howl Broodmother combo to worry about later on, and still only a level 2 Brood, working towards the Soul Rain. Yao, with the sentries pulled to him, should be relatively okay. Faith is... I guess that's why we're not seeing the early boots on the Lions. They wanted to buy the Smoke, the sentries as well.
He didn't go Broodlings early, too. He went
I did see someone skip Broodlings entirely once. They maxed webs and took multiple points in incapacitating bite. It was against a team that really good wave clear, but it also feels like at that point, Brood just doesn't do anything without the spider lanes in the early stages of the game. Can't really take over the enemy jungle, don't really push that hard.
And, I mean, the Howl combo is also wasted.
Yeah.
July gets caught up.
There's a nice kinetic field here by Hanskin. Then the glimpse back. He's going to head the other way, but waiting for him will be Seal Kid with the Howl damage. And July has the salve available. They're hoping to cancel this one. Can they get in range for the stun? Another perfect kinetic field. Traps him out, and that will be the first blood. Hanskin showing why he's run this hero so often as of late, making a lot of plays with it.
That was even a very well-timed Hex to prevent the Razor from leashing onto him after the glimpse.
Yeah, and he ran the right way too. If he runs back to the left, he's just going to die there anyway, but there was just a third hero in the neighborhood, and NiP, they get first blood, but in good news for LGD, Yao is just wrecking bottom. 16-7, mid lane, Sylar 14-0, doing well against Aaron. Now they're going to look for a kill on the Lycan. They jump in with the Impale follow, P drops low. They don't have a point in net, though. We've seen occasionally the value net point, but generally only if you're actually dual laning, and unfortunately not able to finish off Era here.
Yeah, net would have sealed that kill for sure.
I guess they weren't really planning on ganking mid. More just like, oh crap, this top lane isn't working.
Okay, so it's just one bite build.
Okay, bite's a good value, or bite is a good value point for sure.
Yeah, at the same time, Bristle's not doing that much right clicking. It does mess up his CS a decent bit. It's like almost a permanent drunken haze at 2/3 efficacy.
Yeah. At the same time, Yao already has the Ring of Health here though, so at this point it gets hard to zone him out of the lane. They are bringing the support in, so it looks like Yao should be able to deal with the Broodmother relatively well.
Yeah, I'm just surprised the CS is so low.
Yeah, they knew the supports were top, so. And he's had Howl damage as well, so yeah, it is kind of surprising.
Okay, he just fed.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
700 gold now in his pockets. Top side of the map, there's a haste turret on Sylar. Oh, yo, this is trouble. He doesn't have the net, but you don't need it now. Oh, maybe they do. Glimpse back. Okay. Sylar says I'll go farm mid instead.
I think the Brood has a creep skip at this point too. He's just feeding Yao, and I guess Yao can kind of tank up because he has the Ring of Health. But at the same time, like he can at least farm the jungle this way and not feed the Broodlings. He's not really getting anything out of using the Broodlings except just giving Sylar so much gold.
Yeah, the other thing is with the early Ring of Health, like and the bottle, you really can't like just nuke. Sometimes you can just nuke the enemy hero even if they're good at killing off the spider lanes, but you can't really nuke him down anymore. He's got too much regen, so I guess you can just send them to the woods. That's pretty much the only option. Well, they're caught out top lane. They will engage here. Level 2 Anchor Smash is online. They can custom shot follow this one up. Good rotations from LGD after a slightly rough start on the laning stage. Should net them another kill. It does go the way of MMY in the end. At the same time, though, bottom. Yao being chased. Well, who's chasing who? He might get 2-3 kills here. Run, NiP. Not going to have it. He gets 2. He's looking for the 3rd. Oh, he's going to back off. Oh my god, that is not good. Not good at all. That is one angry armadillo, Ben.
I've seen many better Brood players, though. Like Padrino would not get owned in this matchup, like J Sizzle is. That's the thing about Brood. He's just like such a difficult hero to deal with. Even if you lose a lane, like what hero can actually tank every single creep wave at the tower? Yeah, very, very little. So.
It was a smart draft by LGD, picking up the Bristle as well as the Tide and the Naga. 3 heroes with good wave clear, 2 heroes that lane pretty well against her, and the Naga can deal with her pretty effectively later on. And they gave the sentries early. Yeah, like LGD were prepared to play against Brood. We've seen a lot of Brood in Chinese Dota ever since the patch hit, and I guess maybe they're just a little more experienced at dealing with the hero than NiP are at playing it. Let's see if they can turn around. No, not going to happen. Sylar ends the fun. Hillsong and NiP just going to have to give up on this one. At the same time, in July takes some good harassment rate, Mother. The chase is on. There will be a lot of damage stolen. That's a level 1 plasma field, though. Can he get the kill? One more auto attack would do it. 8 Mother committing. Salve is there. Not enough to save him, though. So the salve wasted, and 8 Mother maybe goes... No, that's not enough damage.
That was a long right click.
That was Stretch Armstrong, man. Got like the little putty arm, whips you with it.
Oh, not the value tread swap. There he goes at the last second.
I didn't catch the,
like
the lack of value.
80% of his salve was on strength treads.
That's when you should just delete Dota. Well,
no, I don't even know how much HP would probably be. Not that much. 50 HP maybe.
Look how well they're all getting along. The watermelon, the spider, just happily farming their separate little camps. This is the power of friendship. It crosses international bounds. And mid lane, there's no friendship to be had. Just wolf hate. They'll net Era. He can't really run away. He doesn't have the ultimate anyway. No, he's going to go to retreat out. They don't want to engage further as the rotations do come in from NiP. A double hero rotation and a double from LGD. Brady and Faith to boot.
Wow, Yao takes like no damage from these Broodlings.
He's got a Vanguard. Like Brood is actually useless right now in this lane. She can't push. She can't harass the Bristle. There's no supports here, so
he's level 8. 8 minutes in. Almost nothing.
What do you do at this point? Because
you jungle and then you farm the lane with your hero.
But the problem is Tide's farming the jungle, and he's got level 3 Anchor Smash.
Well, you can contest him in the jungle. Tide's still pretty, reasonably low farm.
Yeah. I feel like this Bristle pick just has completely caught NiP off guard. And
I feel like it's the Brood play, personally.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I've seen Brood win like matches that she shouldn't win, and he's not doing anything special to give him the edge in this matchup.
Well, he is certainly dominating it. 71 CS, 4.2k net worth, and pushing the lane out. Brood's not even threatening towers anymore, let alone stealing the jungle. Well, trying to with a lonely Spiderite, which will be Anchor Smashed. Injuly will continue to harass it. Yeah, he's getting a lot of... He's level 9 already. It's not even 9 minutes in. Just so much free golden experience for those spiders.
Yeah, he's going to have like a, I don't even know, 11-minute Crimson Guard, 10-minute maybe?
That's a good Crimson Guard game, too. Lycan, Brood, definitely a value item this time around. And they will engage onto Jonas, man. They silence him as well. And he's going to fall to a Ravage in July. Just says, let's make sure we get this kill. And they will get the tower on top. There's your Crimson Guard. Pretty much ready to go. Okay. Game is now getting hard for NiP. Losing the tier 1 bottom, Roshan going to be more difficult to access. Era, he is CSing okay, 55, slightly ahead of the enemy Naga, but it's going to be hard for him to carry this one. Like, you look at a Lycan in this game, you run in, you can just song, net, ignore the Lycan. A lot of ways to deal with him, and tanky cores as well, who can just live through the right click. And the Bristle and the Tide.
And they have no T1s. And they're not really close to getting any T1s. Top 1,300 of 1,300 HP. Bottom, about 2/3. Bottom, or sorry, mid 2/3. Bottom, 1,300 out of 1,300. So Brood's lane has taken 0 tower damage. That's how badly he's getting owned.
In July is getting slightly owned, but he's not dying is the main thing here. He's gotten his levels in the off lane, and he hits 7 now. Razor is going to have a mech soon. NiP, well... Can they do anything once they get this mech and I guess maybe the level 6 on the Disruptor?
Is he even going to go Crimson Guard? I don't know. He's saving up an awful lot of gold.
What else would you go for here?
I don't know.
You think?
We don't know what I was going to get. S&Y? Radiance?
Dagon?
Just kidding. Naga's going to get Radiance. Heart? Armlet? I don't know. You can do anything.
Armlet is pretty good if you get it this early. Armor's nice, hit really hard. Probably safer to go for like one of those more tanky items and let Naga do the damage.
A mobile build is good too, though, because they don't really have any ways to keep him in place. Kinetic field and stun, bench stun. That's
not the most reliable. Although these Disruptor kinetic fields have been good, but this is not good for him. He gets hexed out mid. Handskin is going to end up going down. Easy pick off for LGD. Again, the rotation's working out for them.
Oh, Saddler went a 4-1-2 build. That's highly unusual.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I guess the damage in Riptide doesn't actually scale that well.
Arteezy normally maxes mirror image before Riptide nowadays. Or the last time I saw him play Naga, he did.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Dire's middle tower
I like the minus armor on it, though. I guess they don't really have that much right click.
Oh no, is Yao gonna get a courier kill as well? Oh, that's close.
Yao does not need any more gold.
They almost fed the Midas recipe to boot. Oh my goodness. They're gonna lose Handskin for this. He gets caught out. And he will, no maybe not. He drops the Static Storm, able to barely scurry away to freedom. Sylar, not sure they can actually catch him out. They're gonna commit to this one with Eros leaping forward. There's still a song and a net ready. Nobody's gonna get anything done. Nukes
he needed a glimpse or level 6 on Venge, and neither of those came through. Now in July, actually taking a lot of fire from Jay Sizzle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
and
middle
Jonas just,
tower
even when the
is
Tide's here, like he can harass him a bit better, but he's still, there's like no one he can lane against and just dominate. If you can't dominate anyone as a Brood at 12 minutes, what are you doing with your life? As Clairvoyance would say. I don't know, man. It's and now they're there you go. Midas picked up by the Bristle. At this point with the Midas on Bristle, the way the lineups match up and having a Naga's farming well, what did NiP do?
Midas Vanguard treads. Well, they will They need to take a Roshan. I think they have a much better Roshan lineup than LGD. They just have to find the opportunity.
Oh, nice play by Era.
And then once they do that, I don't know, maybe end the game before Naga gets like 2 items after her Radiance. Like before she gets her Manta style, but I don't know, they're so far behind, they can't kill the Bristle in fights, especially with a Ravage to back them up, no way. So, I don't know, they don't have good heroes to deal with split push. At all.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle
It
tower
feels a
is
little-
under attack.
Sounding a little hopeless. Prognosis, not good. Maybe they can get some pickoffs if supports are out of position. Faith is going to drop low here. They'll glimpse him on back into the house. Spider lanes. He runs back in. Munched on by the spider. A painful way to die. Well, freebies like that are one way to try and get back in, and maybe they can Rosh on the back of this.
It's just a Sky Wrath.
Yeah. It also feels like even if they get the Aegis, it's like the earlier Lycan game, where it's not like an automatic GG button or anything close to it. That's the thing with Lycan, he's not really the best Aegis carrier. He's just really good at security. You only get one...
Well, he's good for tower siege, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you only get the one shapeshift. If you go Necro, you only get one Necro. It's not like he's a Storm or even an Ember or something where you come back, you get your full complement of abilities again. They are going to go for this Rosh. Doesn't look like LGD will have any idea it's happening, and indeed the Rosh will fall uncontested as Brood begins to just start finding kill after kill. MMY's going to drop as well. Last hit by the Vengeful Spirit Howl. For good measure.
Well, the supports don't need to be down here. I think they can...
That was why it was working. They just didn't put a support here. It was just Bristle and Tide. Now the supports are trickling in, and as quickly as they come in, they die. Cheeky play by Yao. He didn't actually TP out. He TP'd to the tier 1. Now he's going back in. Even with the Midas, he's ready to fight right now. Ravage was attempted, but in July walks back towards the kinetic field, and he's caught in the Static Storm. He's not going to get off his Ravage for some time. He ends up falling. A lot of damage stolen from Yao, 105 to be exact. This is falling apart quickly for LGD. Keep on getting picked off one at a time. Brood Mama chasing forward. They bring down the Bristle after the glimpse back, and now they look for MMY. It looks like they'll get him too. All they're getting in return is just a Naga split pushing top. No, maybe they don't get MMY, but as the web's in, now the Midas Gaming comes out for NiP. They say, we can match you blow for blow. 8mother will pick up his own Midas.
That was a sick swap. The Tide blinked into Ravage, and he swapped him into the Static Storm and away from danger.
He kept on walking like back into the kinetic field. It felt like he could have like walked to the right or up and maybe just Ravage from there. I don't know if it would have been enough to turn the fight though.
Oh, they needed a Ravage, that's for sure. Especially without BKBs out.
Yeah. Oh, they're right back in it now, Ben. In fact, they're leading. 1,500 gold lead for NiP. That is a 4,000 gold swing in about 5 minutes. 5,000 experience swing. But they do have Ravage now, and they may look to use it on 8mother. Venge is in position for the defensive swap. They're going to engage. Ravage is here. Steel Kid searching for the swap out. Not going to get in time. The Mystic Flare secures the kill. And
Did they really need the finger on top? It was Ravage, Mystic Flared, Impaled, and
getting anchor smashed. And Injuly was ready to cover the retreat as
kill
well.
secured. Well, I guess maybe... I mean, Lion did get his blink off that, so...
That's like using a flamethrower to like cook a steak or something. Is that really necessary? I'm not sure. Manskin trying to trap out Faith, and it looks like Arrow will have the freedom to go in for this kill. He runs back and forth. They glimpse back the Tide. Perhaps they go for this one as well, but then he blinks out. Then he gets swapped back in. They're playing ping pong with July, and he's the ball. And that ball gets swatted off the court. Another kill. This time, Steel Kid got a TP out. No cancellation for that, as MMY was out of cooldowns, out of mana as well. And now, Brood has control of the Radiant jungle, pushing for the tier 2. They're split pushing top with the Lycan. There's no Ravage. The Radiance is about to come out, but LGD, it felt like they had this game in the palm of their hand, and it's just completely slipped away from them.
All they needed to do was sit behind either Naga or Bristle and then just bait it out with a Ravage. And then that's it. Because LGD has much better late game, I'd say. Especially since like Disruptor is pretty useless versus BKB, whereas Lion and Sky are still actually fairly decent because of the instant blink hex and a ton of magic bursts that they can throw out during the Ravage. But I mean, they gave NiP way more than they should have in the past 5 minutes. What a disaster.
Well, in Sylar we trust. There's always that for LGD. He is farming well. Radiance is online now, and he will have a lot of summons to kill off with the constant riptiding. That's now maxed out, as well as the Radiance burn. So he may be able to kind of gain control, wrest control over this jungle back the Radiance way. We'll certainly try for it. And in the meantime, in July, going to be farming his own Ancients, but again, the Wolf's being very effectively micro. Uh-oh. Hold that thought. In July, getting caught out here in the jungle. This is just like the no-fly zone for the Radiant supports. They just, every time they go to this side of the map, not even just there, like that entire quadrant of the map, they just seem to die instantly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That's how it goes.
You are not cleared for landing. Do not approach.
They also don't have any wards up in there.
Yeah, I think that was what they were trying to do, is get some vision up, but unfortunately just not really able to safely navigate their woods at this point. It's top lane, yeah, we'll get caught out. Static Storm here. Without the extra HP he could have had, or tank ability. Going for that Midas instead, it's going to be another death for Yao. He ends up falling. 3 and 2, the turn will come though. Ravage, and then a Ravage of an Impale coming out from MMY. Really nicely played. The fast Piglet Wolf moving forward. Now the ultimate wears off. He'll still continue to surge onwards, looking for the finish on Hanskin. Can't quite get it. Era still fighting. Remember, he's got Aegis here. This is before the Necrobook even comes online. And they glimpse back another. That's your Scarif Mage down. He'll fall as well. A blink forward from MY. Gotta finish the job. He will. Looking for Hanskin. No, Sylar's gonna back off. He's gotta get someone out of this. Song was available. He opted not to use it though. And they're all gonna retreat. And now Brood has Necrobook 3. So that's a double Necro 3 about to come out. Lycan only 400 gold from his.
They also didn't know that the Aegis had just expired. So that's probably why they didn't go on Lycan.
Yeah, he like ran into the trees and then got the regen from it, and they just didn't follow it up.
Still, pretty nice fight from LGD. Very nice to be able to follow up, and NiP pumping a little bit too much for the Ravage, making it easy for them. And yeah, I mean, Necro 3, that's huge. That's quick. They need to end the game quickly, though, so I think that, or at least take down the T2s very quickly. They need to limit Naga's space to farm, which they haven't really been able to do at all. They've been limiting supports from coming into their jungle, but still not controlling good old Sylar's.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. They have decent control over the Radiant jungle now. Era is trying to starve them out a bit, but if you can just keep LGD boxed up in the base, then even if Sylar gets 6-slotted, he's not even really getting much in the way of experience. And LGD have heroes that need their farm later on. Another catch-out, potentially from the Disruptor. It's a swap after a glimpse into a Connecticut. All kinds of repositioning. From the high ground, though, comes the MMY. Blink, Hex, Impale. Do they engage further? They don't have Ravage for this one. Gush out onto Seal Kid, but he walks into the Song, so ends up not taking damage. And can't follow it up. Song's now down. Ravage is not ready, and NiP are surging through mid with 4 while 1 pressures bottom. That's your Brood Mama. And this is the kind of game you want if you're playing a Brood. Just 4 heroes off, pressuring one side of the map, and the freedom to just farm your way away.
I bet Yao regrets his Midas decision, though. I think he could have had the BKB like 5 minutes ago.
Jonas really has to be careful with the Spider Lanes. He just fed Sylar like 500 gold. It is tough against the Naga Radiance, but
he is not careful.
Like he's like, screw really up, care. Man. I'll give you gold, but I'm just gonna out-farm you anyway.
I will get your illusion.
He's got more Spider Lanes to feed now. Oh, God. I wish you could see how much gold you get from like Spider Lanes, for example. Like the total on the game. I bet it's probably just a couple thousand at this point, or at least like 1,500. They do get a kill top lane, but Ravage was committed for it. Pretty heavy investment. And that means Brood can, with impunity, push in this bottom lane. Spider Lane's going to work. Pal is available. They choose not to use it, and they will hold the line. Sylar sees gold. He wants it. It'll actually be Yao who claims it. Well, LGD are holding the base for now, but they are definitely under pressure.
Yeah, I think using Ravage for a kill like that is decent. As long as they can buy time for Sylar. 2,200 gold. Pretty good.
Dire's
So you
top
think if
tower
this goes
is
late
under
enough, you'd
attack.
pretty heavily favor LGD?
Yeah,
Dire's
what are they going to do
structures
versus
are
the split
fortified.
push?
And the team fight for LGD is stronger with double Ravage, with Song to set it up or to disengage. You've got the instant Blink Hex. Disruptor can't do much against the BKBs.
Yeah, I think they can't really deal with Bristle and Naga. Like they can probably deal with one or the other, but both of them combined with the Ravage is too much. So, I mean,
Razor is getting pretty fat. He's gonna have his Ag
Dire's
soon.
top tower is
He did go
under
for
attack.
Midas, so Refresher is definitely in his capabilities to farm this game. Do you think like a Razor can turn it around, or
no,
Dire's
he can't push
top
out
tower
lanes.
is under attack.
And then the Blink Hex will own him, or even just a Blink Ravage committed on someone who's trying to push out lanes. So I think it's...
do we need to see the Blink Disruptor?
Blink Disruptor would be pretty good, but... I mean, I think what's going to be really key for them is using smokes to kill Sylar. If they can use that before he gets... I mean, I said before the Manta style, but...
We've kind of passed that
kind of
threshold
past
at
that.
this point.
I mean, he's going to get in like, what, 2 minutes maybe?
Mm-hmm. BKB for Bristle. LGD slowly pouring in the items. Yao now carrying quite a few sentries, and he will start working on these fight lanes bot lane as they bring in the reinforcements. They're going to get some eyes on him. Yao's going to run back. Do they look for a glimpse in? Nope, not going to go for it. But they're bringing in the whole squad. Era's here as well, and NiP I think just want to bonsai charge this bottom lane, but BKB pop by Yao. He turns the other way and runs in aggressively. MMY with the Hex, no finger for 2 seconds. He would have loved to have it right then and there, but he didn't. And now the BKB for Yao wears off. They engage, but Sylar says, chill out, everybody. And now comes the Ravage. Get ready for it. Courier dies in the midst of it all. It flies directly in the middle of the fight. Ravage comes through, hits 8 Mother and Seal Kid, but Jonas manages to BKB out of it. Era taking a huge beating from this Mystic Flare, but it's not enough to kill him off. In July now, no Ravage, not really a whole lot to offer his team. The Scarith Mage will fall. The Aegis pops. They're going to bring Era back for a second life. MMY turning, delivering. It brings down Jonas. That song reset making the difference here for LGD. They'll lose Era. They're going to lose Handskin as well. I think Blade, can he TP out? Oh, close. His corpse actually landing in the well, but they deposit him into the grave there. A 5-man wipe.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That was the all-in strat. I can't really say that it was a bad idea either. They had 2 Necro 3s, which is pretty darn strong, but if Yao didn't have BKB, I think it would have been a pretty good fight, although I think they would have just committed like 2 or 3 buybacks, but that was pretty much the push that they needed to defend in order to win the game, and it was... You know,
do you like that approach of bringing all 5 heroes to one lane as opposed to like split pushing with Lycan and Brood and keeping them separate?
Naga will destroy that though. Like if they commit like 3 or 2, they just sleep and swarm them, and she can split push out the other lanes with the illusions. So
you think you have to 5-man?
I think you could have smoked with a 5-man into it and pick off a hero without a BKB, like Tidehunter, let's say. Bank on him not having a buyback and then pushing up the hill. I think that's a much safer way, but I do think that they had to make something happen, and they pretty much had a 3-minute window to do it when they had the Aegis. So it didn't work out for them, and it was a low probability play, like 30-70, I'd say, is the chance of it working out. And I mean, with that, Naga Siren with Manta Style and a buyback on top of that, and you know BKB's already secured on the Bristleback, and Refresher coming in soon for Tidehunter. This is very, very difficult for NiP.
Ruh-roh, Handskin takes the finger. MMY giving him the poke in the rear. Now the swap out, nicely played by Seal Kid, but if they get this kill anyway, it may end up just being 2 supports instead of 1. It is LGD starting to clean house, and there's no real trades in sight. Slowly, your Razor will look to split push out top, but at the same time, LGD stealing the Ancient stacks, taking the tier 2 mid, and bottom lane not even close to being past the river. This is just crumbling.
See, NiP is a team that I like that play because they're playing to win. They're not playing to not lose. Like, not losing is just not pushing in 30 minutes and just slowly but surely getting owned by Naga. They went for a play that is going to cost them the game, but so is just sitting in your base for 25 minutes and letting Naga farm all your
And
lanes.
that play, at least you have a chance to win.
At least
where sitting in your base,
yes,
pretty much no chance unless Sylar just throws.
That's a big difference I see in like the aspiring teams and the like the tier 2 teams. Is just they don't take any chances. They're like, I don't want to lose, but I'm not going to take any measures to win. But they still have Midases. They can maybe bring it back with a Razor Refresher. But Naga is just eclipsing everyone in net worth, 17,000. So she's 3,000 on top of Brood. And I think Brood has to be like pretty far ahead of a Naga in order to be able to beat her ruses.
That Naga is getting scary though. Manta's been complete. 2,700 gold in the bank. Aegis not even going to be available for a couple of minutes. Yao now, finally, after completing the BKB, he's on his way to his next item. 4,200 gold up for him. They're just getting to that point where they can just tank through everything that the summons throw their way. And
as long as LGD has buybacks, I think they're completely safe.
Well, they are. Looks like they're going to commit to some item purchases, at least in July. Going for the
look at Seal Kid. He's about to die. He's at their tier 3. He's like almost dead from a Naga.
Uh-oh. This could be a big turn. That's there on Jonas. He doesn't have a TP scroll. Sylar wants to song and then wait for this BKB to wear off, but Jonas, oh, he wiggles through the trees, but right as he does, that BKB wears off. Now they impale the ground. Jonas just chills to the south. He's hoping they don't come in range of him with detection and
sleep for the Necro books. Easy money.
Their detection is dead because he killed off the Skyrat. But yeah, still delicious gold into Sylar's pockets. It's got to be a couple thousand from all the summons, Necro books, Spiderlings, Wolves this game. Is it going to be a farm Sylar again that carries it for LGD? It kind of feels that way. Like, it didn't seem like it was going to fall to Sylar to turn it around. After Yao was dominating bottom, Tide was still farming the jungle, but then they had those pretty big slip-ups where the game almost fell apart, it seemed.
And then Sylar just pulled it through with that sleep on bottom lane.
Yeah, that set up a great Ravage. Not a great one, a good one. He hit 2 heroes, gets the quick kill, and just waits out the BKBs of NiP as well.
That's the thing about LGD's lineup, though. They don't even have to play that great in order to beat NiP, whereas NiP, they have to play really well with this particular lineup. Like, Brood has to win the lane and not feed a ton of Spiderlings. They have to get multiple Roshans. They have to kill all the towers early. They have to try and kill Naga here and then.
Ease of execution, yes, would you say?
That's the thing about Naga strats. Like, one player has to play well as opposed to 5.
So you want to see more Naga?
I mean, it's just one of those strats, man. You gotta pull it out now and then. Yeah. Just so the other team has to waste their
honest, you know. Yep. They try to strut up on you a little bit.
Yep.
Bam! Naga. It has worked pretty well for LGD. Just not just the Naga pick per se, but just busting out a hard carry for Sylar. It's just a testament to what a premier carry's become. I don't think many would argue that if he's not the best in China, he's on that very short list. And there was a period where people were kind of wondering if he could really fill the shoes of Burning, and once he did go on to retire, and he's certainly propelled himself into the limelight for a long time.
Mother might get picked off here.
Whoa! Declare, Impale, Hex as well, and that time a much needed thing for good measure.
Really bad time to die right before Roshan respawns, but without a BKB there, no chance of him surviving. So short one, 115 it looks like. And LGD, full control of this game. Naga Siren almost has her heart. Can just defend against any sort of split push efforts by
And they can BOC her in top if they want. Like, if they get this bottom lane out
he's
enough.
Feeding Necro books too. Oh man, he's feeding so much gold.
If only Illusions gave you gold, then NiP would be okay.
He's probably created like
3,000, 4,000 gold.
Yeah.
It's been like, what, 2 full Necro books, maybe 3, and then like at least 1,000 or 1,500 to 2,000 gold in Spiderling.
Okay, well that's a free 3 tower.
I think that's more if they want it. They don't want to overcommit here though, because if the Naga has to TP in to defend that, to win that fight, then that leaves bottom lane open for Brood. So they just leave Yao in front. The rest of the team kind of relaxes back, and the Illusions push out that bottom lane. Sylar just waiting for his opportunity to join the team if necessary. Brood is going to just scramble back. Jonas is running back to base. He's decided that he can't push out this bottom lane anymore. Actually, maybe even works for Roche, but Roche is not out yet. Now it is.
Wow, that's a free Ranger Axe, too. Okay. I thought they were going to commit to that defense. That's a lot to lose.
For nothing.
Well, it was a Razor death.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Naga wasn't even there, was the sad part.
LGD are just playing it really deliberately. They know if they just leave Raze or Naga bottom, Brood can't push in. They also understand the rest of the lineup strong enough to do it without him. Swap comes through from Seal Kid, but the Ravage counter initiates there from Injuly. That's Ravage number 1. Ravage number 2 could be blown, but not going to bother it. Actually, does he have mana? Yeah, he doesn't. BKB on Yao. That'll wear off, but the racks continue to be just brutalized as the bottom lane is now pushing in too. LGD might just go for the jugular here, try to wipe up NiP and move on into the winner bracket semifinals. They can smell it and taste it. They're close. They're almost there. They continue their pressure. Injuly blinks forward, then 4 steps back. That's going to force out a BKB from Era. Didn't really have a choice in the matter. If he doesn't BKB there and the Ravage comes out, he's just dead. But
well, he's going to get slept and then be
now
Ravage dead too.
Jonas falling. Era back to the well. While Ape Mother, he'll take the bullet for the team, but this looks to be the end for NiP. They should be dropping onto the lower bracket any moment now. LGD still 5 alive. Buyback still had 5 available. It's 10 lives for them, and they could take Roche if they need it. This is the end for NiP, not in the tournament, but in their efforts to stay in the winner bracket. They'll have a long, hard slog from here if they want to stay alive in iLeague. Your lone Western representatives, a lot of weight on their shoulders with this new sponsorship, and just a little bit outgunned here by Sylar and friends. Not done just yet. 4 heroes dead. Let's get another team wipe before this game's over, says Yao. Straight towards the well he goes. Ape Mother runs to the right, then he decides the left is better, but nowhere is safe. Life is hell. And down he'll go.
Crushed.
You want to move speed. It's not Yasha. There you go.
Crushed like bugs. The Sylar show.
So you still like the draft by NiP? You just think the execution's lacking, or do you think it's just a low probability strat in general?
I mean, their draft wasn't bad. It had a clear game sense. They had aggressive supports in Disruptor and Venge. They were looking to get big on those 2 pushers and then push them down.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was decent. It just I think the Razor pick actually wasn't that great because he didn't get matchup versus Bristleback. We never saw really big static links. He shut down the Tidehunter, but Tidehunter still had a refresher and blink at the end of the game, so he wasn't really able to do that much. I think if they could have gotten something a little bit better, like less passive and farmy, because Brood's already going to be passive and farmy. If they had something to maybe control the Naga Siren a little bit better, then the game would have been a lot closer for them.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, they didn't do that, guys. So that wraps up our first best of 3. We've got 3 more coming your way. Merlini here will be getting some much-needed rest. You can follow him on Twitter, guys, at Merlini Dota. Gods will be joining me for the next best of 3. That one coming up hopefully any moment. It was scheduled to start. I'm sure the players will have to set up, but it was scheduled to start before this series actually ended up ending, so they should be getting set up immediately. With that said, you can also follow me on Twitter, at LDDota. Thanks for watching, guys. We've got 3 more series headed your way. Stick around. You're watching Beyond the Summit's coverage of iLeague Season 2, and we will be back.